You only need fuel, and you need air, and you need spark. Aren't those the three basic elements of cavemen starting fires? There's no digital footprint basically on this car at all. My name is Fred Botcher. I'm into custom cars, modified, anything that's a hot rod. The average person knew how to change a tire. The average person knew how to, well, my car, I have to check my oil. We have taken that away from people, just like we've taken away the ability to park because we have self-parking cars. We've taken away the ability to lane change because we have warning systems. I find people are just becoming more and more detached, so we have fewer and fewer people driving a car that really have any input into the car. Color, that's it. So what kind of a car guy are you? Well, I like blue cars. Hot rod, by definition, is any vehicle modified to perform or accelerate faster than stock. Technically, this car is a custom. Custom is mostly done for aesthetic modifications. Hot rods, as a rule, do not have adjustable suspension to lower them to the ground. To me, a door handle, okay, you need it to get in, but it's an obstruction. It's an obtrusion. Your eye flows down the side of the vehicle, and all of a sudden you've got this big handle on the side that looks like should be on your Aunt Helen's dresser. Brought the car's lines back down to the purest form. A true custom line of a car, and doesn't matter what the car is, if you clean it up and you enhance the factory lines, those cars are timeless. It's a breath of fresh air. It was a difficult birth. The front frame section is out of a 1981 Z28 Camaro, and it's grafted onto the 1957 Cadillac frame. And then I have a 440 Chrysler motor sitting inside of the whole thing. There's 3 two-barrel carburetors underneath, 440 some odd horsepower. Chrysler people just, they don't get it at all because I've taken the holy grail of 440s and put it into a Cadillac, which is not only that, it's a Cadillac, but it's a GM car. I have a muscle car motor in a car that basically runs low and slow. So it's a weird kind of badge of honor. You show up to some place and you've got the biggest motor as far as horsepower goes, and yet you drive it as if it was just a weeny little motor. The radiator's a 1971 Ford F-150 core with a 1957 Cadillac lower rad and a 1961 Chrysler top tank. The louvers are punched in. They're vintage louvers. They're round. They're not square. They have a round edge. Each one of these holes is punched individually. They have the hood upside down, and a die comes down and punches each hole out individually. There's 300 holes in that hood. The steering wheel is new old stock, as in that is a 1961 Plymouth steering wheel. I bought it 6 years ago while I was building the car, and it was new in a box from 1961 from the Chrysler Corporation. And I wanted it because it's the same square shape as the instrument cluster. The seats in the car are 1964 Chrysler bucket seats. There are 4 front seats, modified them so that it effectively becomes a 4-seater. The car was an 11-year build. I loved it and hated it. I wanted to burn it. I wanted to praise it. It was an emotional ride. Basically, it's a switch that runs 2 hydraulic pumps in the back, one for the front and one for the back, and if I hit the switch, I can raise the car basically up to any level that I want, up to about 14 inches above from where we are right now. It's an aesthetic thing. It proves nothing. It doesn't help the ride quality. It doesn't do anything. It's purely just for showing off. I mean, I do 85 and 90 on the highway. That's miles an hour. Sort of kind of controversial for a car on hydraulics because everybody thinks that hydraulic cars, they ride really, really crappy. They don't go fast because lowriders traditionally, via television and the media, they all think that they're just a bunch of guys that drive 2 inches off the ground at 10 miles an hour. The bottom part of the car is a stock Volkswagen color. It's called Futura Yellow. And the top part is fully custom. The roof was painted in multiple layers. Black first, and then they put clear on it. Then they painted gold metallic flake. They put clear on top of that. Then they painted silver metallic flake. They put clear on top of that. And then they shot the candy apple red. And there's 6 coats of clear over top of that, and it's all been cut and polished. And the roof is absolutely flawless. That's the pride and joy for me of the car. So I have a remote button to get into the car, and it's under the wheel well. And there's a button you push here, and it pops the doors. I gained an appreciation for utilization of the machine. This past summer, put a little over 6,000 miles on the car. But look at Willie Nelson's guitar, Trigger. It's actually worn through.
Right.
And that's his hallmark. I mean, he uses that guitar. It's an art form that you can drive around. You can take your art out. Other than going to car shows where people come to you, you can take your art and you can drive it down the street. You can drive it anywhere, and it's appreciated by people that get it. If you got a cool car, you never get lost.